Good, we have this plain web page now, and let's go ahead and write some CSS code. So I have the index.html file in here, and then I have the CSS file, which is empty for now. So I just went here and split it down so that I have it down here in Atom, and here is a rendered web page, so index.html. And yeah, you don't have to declare anything here. You just, in the CSS, you just need to point to your tags, to your HTML elements. So container, that is this one here, so the division, which wraps up the entire page, including the inputs and the titles here. So container, and then you use these curly brackets. So I suppose you know about the margin and these other basic attributes of CSS. I would encourage you to go to a quick CSS tutorial if you don't find something not clear in here. CSS is easy, so width 100% and height as well. We specify the width and the height of the container, and 100% meaning the container will occupy the entire page. And then you have background color. I have noted some colors down here, so this would be something like 4-6 there. Yeah. So what we have so far is this page. So this is the color that I just specified. And also, if you want to change the color of that text now, you'd want to pass color, and maybe this. Yeah. I want to specify how the overflow will behave. So if you pass scroll in here and the element goes outside of the size of the container, you'll get some sliders there. But hidden is more commonly used. Of course, you can experiment with these parameters and see which one works best for you. And let's put the text in the center. So text align, that would be center. Yeah. So it's looking better now. And you can see these margins here outside of the container. So we want to remove them and also fill this empty space with this color. To do that, you'd want to point to the HTML tag and then to the body tag. Height would be 100%. The margin is 0, so we don't want that to be displayed. Yeah, now it's looking much better. Great. What else? If you want, you can specifically point to this h1 tag, so the text of the h1 tag and the text of the h3 tags. I'll leave the h3 tags like it is, but I'll change the h1 tag. And to do that, you'd point to the container and then to h1 tag. Font family, that would be, let's say, Arial sans serif. Maybe font size, let's say 30 pixels. And another color as well. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Yeah, the font changed. Maybe we can change the margin, the top margin. Let's say 80 pixels. Let's see how it changes. Yeah, so it's further down now. Good, now let's point to the form. And you could do that by making use of a container class division and then point to the form tag. So let's modify the margin here, pixels, and see how this changes things. Yeah, so the form went further down. That means you are able now to discriminate between the form and the upper text. You can change it wherever you like there. And some more elements. The input. To point to the input, again, you can say container and then input, and that will affect both your inputs. If you want to affect only one input, so one by one, you could specify a different class for each input. So you could say class here, a email class, and then number class here, and then you point to those classes, so like email, and then you write the things there, the attributes. But I'll go ahead and modify both the input fields with the same attributes. So the width would be 350 pixels. Height, let's say 15 pixels. Font size, the same. Margin would be, or let me try what we have so far. And yeah, you can see that we were able to modify the width and the height of these fields. So if you want separation between them, you could do something like margin and then let's say 2 pixels. Save, go there, reload. Yeah, now you see you have a space between. Good. If you see the text starts at the very beginning of the input box. If you wanted to start like further on the right, you could do something like padding and maybe 20 pixels. Yeah. Now looks great. So our form is taking shape. We still have to do the submit button, or we can add something else here to do some transitions there. Transition all 0.2 seconds and easy in out method. So if you try that now, you see we have a nice transition there when we load the page. So I'm loading the page here. Good. Now the button, how can we grab the button? Yeah, container, button, and a width of 70 pixels, height maybe 30 pixels, background color, this time I'll put a color name, steel blue, yeah. Yeah, what do I have so far? Yeah, it's looking good. You can also add a border attribute and then a border color attribute as well to modify the color of your border. Well, I'll leave it like that. And margin maybe 4 pixels. See how that changes things. Yeah. So the button went further down, so we have some space there. Or we can leave it 3 pixels. Yeah, good. So I think this looks good. Maybe we need less space here between the form and the line. So we go to the form. Yeah, maybe reduce this margin 20 pixels. Yeah, this looks better. So that's about our index.html page. How about the success.html page? Let's see how that looks like. Yeah, this looks good as well, I believe. So success.html is this one here. And yeah, or we can put this text further down. So just here maybe. To do that, you use the same CSS, but you'd want to point to the container class of success.html. So container, and then to the p tag. So let's modify the margin there, 200 pixels maybe. That looks, or maybe less, 150, or just 100. Yeah, I think this looks good. So this 100 pixels mean this text, this block here, is 100 pixels away from the left margin and 100 from the upper one, from the top, and 100 from the right, and so on. That means if you want this text to have specific margins from the left and from the right, you know you'd have to pass this left, top, right. But this is good, I think, so I'll leave it like that. And we are done with the CSS and with this lecture. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Of course, if you want, you can change this styling but I suggest you don't spend much time with these, because in the next lecture we will be working on the Python script. So yeah, I'll talk to you in the next lecture.